When people ask me about calendula, they expect me to talk about all of its amazing skincare benefits. But in herbal medicine, we use calendula for so much more than a skincare plant. From healing ulcers to supporting period cramps and even eradicating yeast infections. So today I'm going to dive into all of the amazing benefits that calendula has, and we are going to get into the depths of this plant. Hey guys, welcome back to my 10 Minutes of Herbalism series. I'm Brianna, and every single week I dive into one herb. We get into its uses, its contraindications, and everything about the plant so you can start learning herbalism alongside me. If you like videos about herbalism and wellness, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below so you know exactly when I'm posting. And today we're going to be talking about all things calendula, which I'm so excited because I love calendula and I think it's one of the most underrated herbs. So when I first started my herbalism journey, calendula was actually the first plant that I started with. And I always recommend people starting their herbalism journey with flowers because I believe flowers are very gentle and a good intro to how much more that meets the eye with herbalism. The scientific name for calendula is Calendula officinalis, and you'll often see it growing in warmer climates. It grows amazingly in the summer, and it's a very prolific and abundant plant, and I always try to keep it in the garden because it's just so beautiful. It comes in shades of orange, yellow, and sometimes even spots of white. So calendula is one of those herbs that when you read almost any herbalism book, she pops up, and I believe that's because it has such a rich folk history in the herbalism world and also outside of the Western world. In the Ayurvedic world, it has a lot of history there as well. And pretty much across the board, it is known for its ability to heal wounds and infections. You can simply chew calendula, the flower, spit it back out, and you have kind of a paste, and you can place it onto a wound. And it's known to help stitch wounds back together and help with infections. And so that is the traditional use of calendula, and it has stayed consistent across the board. And as science and time went on, we learned about its internal uses as well. Calendula is also known as poor man's saffron, and if you don't know, saffron is a very expensive part of a flower that people mostly use to help with flavoring and coloring rice and foods and stews and all of the things. And so calendula has kind of a really bright orange color and can be used for kind of a similar use. It's not as potent as a saffron, but it does have a bitter taste and it adds somewhat of a flavor to your food. And so calendula was oftentimes substituted back in the day for saffron, which is interesting. Because of its bitter taste, in traditional Ayurvedic medicine, calendula was often used as a post-digestive support. So oftentimes when you're eating, you would take in Ayurvedic medicine, you would eat something like fennel seeds, which really help to stimulate digestion. And so in a similar way, calendula is used because it does have a bitter profile when you're eating just the flower. So it's used oftentimes to help with moving the digestion and circulating things in that realm. So let's get into some herbal energetics and herbal actions of calendula. So calendula is generally known as a gently warming, slightly drying, and bitter herb. It's a slightly bitter herb, and it's just known generally as a very uplifting, circulatory type herb. So whether that means circulation in the lymphatic system, circulation in the reproductive system, calendula has that overall like circulatory action in the body. One of the main herbal actions of calendula is that it's known as a vulnerary, which is essentially an herb that helps to repair the tissues of the body. And so that's why it's such a well-known wound healing herb, because it has that action to gently knit together the tissues when you have a wound. Also, in the same respect of healing infections and wounds, it's known as an antimicrobial and antibacterial herb, and also anti-inflammatory. And so all of those herbal actions kind of play on each other, right? It's really great for helping to ease inflammation. So when you have a wound, your cells kind of come to the surface so that you can have healing, but that also brings inflammation. And so when you bring an herb like calendula into the mix, it helps to kind of soothe that inflammation. The antimicrobial aspects help to clean it and keep the infections at bay topically. And these herbal actions also work internally as well. Calendula, taking it internally, it does have antifungal, antimicrobial actions, like we said, so it can come in and help to soothe any candida overgrowth, because candida is naturally occurring in the body, but there are things that we do and engage in that can make the candida go overboard. And so having an herb like calendula on your shelf is great for internally keeping your candida and yeast at bay and in control. And so those herbal actions are so great to know, because it's not just for candida, it's for bacterial infection, bacterial vaginosis for women, but there are so many other things. That's why it's also really great for gastric ulcers and healing anything digestion wise as well. So another herbal action of calendula is that it is a uterine stimulant, which is what we call an emmenagogue in the herbalism world. And so an emmenagogue really brings like movement into the uterus. It is great for helping bring on any delayed menses. So if you haven't gotten your period in some time, calendula can be very helpful for bringing on your period. But mostly it's known for its ability to help with dysmenorrhea, which is painful periods. And so if you have overly painful cramps, like I'm telling you guys, that is not normal. And you need to learn how to eat with your cycle, which is probably a video that I will be doing very soon, because I love to talk about this topic. And so taking herbs like calendula really helps to normalize and regulate your menses, which is something that as women, we all need. And so yeah, calendula is such an amazing herb with such a wide variety of uses. But as we see, each of the herbal actions have a play on why it is supportive for the things that it is supportive for. So as for contraindications, calendula is absolutely contraindicated for women that are pregnant. And there's a little few other ones, like if you have allergies to ragweed, or some people even say mango leaves, which is interesting. Just use your caution if you have those types of allergies when you are taking calendula. So you're trying to get all of these amazing benefits into your life. Let's talk about how to use calendula. Now, the most simple way, which is one of the ways I love to use calendula because it is a gentle flower, it is to make a simple infusion, or as we know, a tea. So the way to make a simple infusion with calendula is to put some flowers in your teapot and pour hot water over it. I would do like not boiling hot, but not warm, just hot enough so that you can begin to extract all of the benefits. And I like to let my leaves and flowers sit for 10 to 15 minutes to really steep in the water and extract. And that's a great way to begin to utilize its benefits for digestion, for the internal bacterial and inflammation, the anti-inflammatory effects that it has. It's really great for utilizing. And if you have period cramps, you can make teas that are also in conjunction with other herbs, like maybe red raspberry leaf. You can add some calendula in there, and you just have those two herbs kind of playing off of each other in your tea, which is really, really great. Now, you can take these benefits a bit further and do an overnight infusion with your calendula. So the way to make an overnight infusion is, instead of using boiling hot water, I would use warm water and get your jar and put about that much calendula in it. Pour your warm water, completely immersing your plant in it, and then you can let it sit on your counter overnight, or you can put it in the fridge, whichever you prefer. And from that point forward, you have a very potent infusion. Now let's talk topical uses, which is one of the places that calendula really shines. And as we know, a lot of people love to make oils. I have, and let me go grab it really quickly. This is one of my calendula oils. At any given moment, I always have a big jug of calendula oil. And my favorite way of using calendula oil is just as is. I love using oil post shower, and this has just been so amazing. You can use the oil just as is, and you can even make a salve. So a way to make a salve is you use your infused oil, You put it over a double boiler on your stove and you add some beeswax. What happens is you have a solidified oil because of the beeswax, and now you have something more portable. So instead of using your oil, you would use your salve, and it's like a lotion, and you can use it topically for everything. I always get cuts, so I use it on my cuts, I use it on my feet, I use it on my heels, I use it everywhere. I use it on my skincare as well. So this is so amazing and versatile. I recommend everyone get some calendula and pour oil over it, and you have this in your house. So I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. As we see, calendula is such a flexible and dynamic herb, and I hope this gave you a good insight as to all of its amazing benefits and uses. If you use calendula in your personal life, let me know down below. I would love to know the ways that you incorporate her into your routines. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, show some love. And until next time, thank you for watching. Peace.